Stop believing the lies. Stoicism is not about becoming an emotionless robot who never smiles. We're busting 5 massive Stoic myths right now. The most persistent myth is that true Stoics are cold, unemotional beings aiming for apathy. This is a profound misunderstanding rooted in mistranslation. When ancient Stoics sought Apatheia, which means without passion, they were aiming for freedom from destructive, irrational emotional states, like crushing distress or blinding anger, which they termed passions. They knew the initial flicker of feeling, Apatheia, is natural. Instead of rejecting all emotion, the Stoic goal is the emotional maturity to prevent these feelings from escalating and clouding reason. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, reminded himself in his meditations that the anger of others should not become his anger, recognizing that the only person harmed by rage is the one holding it. Therefore, a true Stoic isn't someone who feels nothing. They are someone who processes feelings rationally, choosing a virtuous response over a destructive reaction. The second pervasive myth suggests that Stoicism is just a counsel of passive resignation, a shrug of the shoulders in the face of inevitable fate, urging you to accept hardship and do nothing. This couldn't be further from the truth. Stoicism is hyper-focused on action and effort, defined by the bedrock of the entire philosophy, the dichotomy of control. As taught by Epictetus, you must separate the world into 2 categories: things in your control, your judgments, intentions, and actions, and things not in your control, everything else. The Stoic mindset demands you apply maximum virtuous effort in the controllable sphere. Train diligently, study rigorously, act kindly, and then accept the result with tranquility. This is proactive engagement, not passive fatalism. Third, many believe Stoics reject happiness, confusing fleeting external pleasure, or hedon, with deep stable human flourishing, which the Stoics called Eudaimonia. Stoics believed that pursuing external things like fame or sensual indulgence as a primary source of happiness is foolish, because these goods are volatile and vulnerable to chance. Instead, they argued that genuine, lasting happiness is found only in virtue, living rationally, justly, courageously, and with temperance. When your contentment comes from your unshakable character, no external event, a market crash or public insult, can take that away. Stoics weren't rejecting happiness, they were arguing for a far superior, stable form of it. The fourth myth is that Stoicism is an obscure philosophy only suitable for ancient academics or high-ranking politicians. Yet, historically, its practitioners spanned the entire social spectrum. The 2 most famous later Stoics represent the philosophical extremes of their society: Epictetus, who began life as a slave and taught in poverty, and Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. Their lives prove the philosophy works for everyone. Epictetus showed that even in chains, true freedom resides entirely within one's mind. Marcus Aurelius demonstrated that even amidst ultimate power, internal tranquility could be preserved. Stoicism's core appeal lies in its democracy. It requires no wealth, no formal education, and no special status. Finally, Stoicism is mistakenly seen as fundamentally selfish, advocating for a withdrawal into the self while ignoring the world's pain. This entirely misses its highest principle, Sympatheia, or radical empathy. The entire Stoic ethical system rests on the concept of cosmopolitanism, the belief that we are all citizens of one single, cosmic community, bound together by the universal force of reason. Because we are all inherently interconnected, living virtuously requires acting with justice, kindness, and benevolence. Seneca advised that we should be helpful to others because we are members of a great body. To neglect a fellow human is to neglect the whole, and thus, to neglect your own rational duty. Therefore, focusing on developing your inner character is the most effective way to equip yourself to be of maximum use to the outside world. Ultimately, the myths crumble. Stoicism is not about apathy, but about emotional clarity. It is not about resignation, but about maximized, rational effort. It is not about avoiding happiness, but about building unshakable, lasting contentment. It is not reserved for the elite, but is available to every rational human being. And finally, it is not about selfishness, but about radical empathy and duty to the cosmic whole. It's an operating system for living a better, more powerful, and ultimately more humane life. Unlock true resilience and join our community of wisdom seekers. Hit that subscribe button now.